Hi, I'm Pastor Harley Wheeler with the Broadway United Methodist Church. For today's devotion, I want to read a verse which reminds us of a story in the book of Joshua, where it says in 3:17, "Now the priest, bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord, stood firmly on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all Israel was passing over on dry ground until all the nation finished passing over the Jordan." Now that recalls the story that after the people had passed through the wilderness and finally come to the promised land under the leadership of Joshua, their last barrier is crossing the river Jordan. And the river was at flood stage, and so that's more of a problem than it sounds like. Thousands of people trying to get over a flooded river. And the plan that the Lord had was have the priests take up the Ark of the Covenant, the great box symbolizing God's promises and God's mercy, holding the Ten Commandments and a jar of manna and evidences. It's just a living evidence of God's love and care for them. Have the priests step into the water, and when they stepped in the water, the river receded, and then the priests stayed in the middle of the river holding the ark while all the people passed over. Now, I'm wanting to know if you want to be one of those priests, one of those people who are anointed and set apart and consecrated to be in leadership, or, well, leadership might not be the word, to be given for the good of the people. You know, on a day to stand in the bottom of a riverbed while all the people passed over, the fast ones, the slow ones, the whole tribe, hundreds and thousands of people passed over the river Jordan, and the priest stood there, perhaps in the sun, perhaps with just all that uncomfortableness of standing there. To be consecrated to God and be used for His service will often be giving us days of many crosses. The things God will give us will certainly lead us to joys, to answered prayer, to evidence of His presence, but also to crosses, to occasions where we get to be led to forget ourselves and to live for God and to live for God's people. That's the message of those priests standing in the River Jordan. It's a message for us today. We should plan to serve God and not serve God to attain glory, to look good, to even be praised, but sometimes to stand and wait so that others might know salvation. So go forth and be consecrated to God in that way today.